Alright guys, welcome back to Workbench as usual. Messy as fuck, don't mind the blown up Mark III back there. We'll talk about that later, but today we're going to talk about my buzzword here, general purpose rifle. Ooh, my dual rifle. Ooh, my SHTF rifle. Ooh. But yeah, no, this is really what, just grab it now and grab it and go. This is the rifle for that. Before that was just like a standard bare bones M4A1 build and just iron sights, and you know, that was it. But this one I kind of stepped up a little bit to be more a little bit capable. But yeah, then just an EOTech on an M4. But yeah, so whereas before I was using a 20-inch M16A4 before the M4. I don't live in an area now that I have a lot of area to cover if I were to engage something. So I've cut the barrel length down dramatically from a 20-inch to a 13.9 barrel, I believe, or 13.7, one of the two. It's from Ballistic Advantage. I can't remember. I think it's the 13.9 if I remember correctly. Why the 13.9? Just because I needed to be able to pin weld this thing on to bring it to 16 inches to make it a rifle legally. So that's the only reason. There's no special, you know, mindset behind a 13.9 versus a 13.7 versus a 13 or 13 and a half. I got the longest barrel I could in the 13 inches because there's no dead ass 14-inch barrel either. Could I win on the 14.5? Yeah, but you know, hey, when I'm putting this long ass thing on there, I wanted to, you know, keep it a little bit short, a little bit more maneuverable, so hence the 13 barrel. So yes, but let's enough talking about everything like this. Let's talk about what's on here. So let's start with the lower first, because I know everybody expects me to go front to back, but everybody, you know, trigger people who used to the normal. But here we have the stock. This is a Magpul CTR stock. Why did I get a CTR stock? Well, just simply because I like the angle of here. It gives you a nice cheek weld without being too aggressive like this, the crane stocks, or the soft mod stocks, sorry. And then also has this right here, the buffer 2 block, which keeps it from rattling. I like that. Also has all these different sling mounting options. So again, options, lightweight, comfortable, strong. I've been using knockoffs of these for a long ass time. And finally I just got a real one. So yeah, moving forward, we have an Aero Precision enhanced receiver extension, or buffer 2, whatever you guys want to call it. Yeah, it's got it's a buffer 2. No matter what fancy people will think, it's a freaking buffer 2. So here it's staked on with the end plate. I don't have any fancy end plate, just a standard carbine end plate. I staked it twice, and there's a thread locker on there as well, so there's no way this thing's ever backing off, which the stakes are done properly, so there's no way it was going to back off anyways. But you know, double insurance. Moving on, here we have a lower parts kit from Aero Precision, which is basically just standard milspec parts. This is the one company, I can't remember what it is, but they supply this shit to the military, and there's a specific name for this trigger group, but it's one that's gonna make it go bang consistently every single time. And yes, the magazine is loaded. That's how it always is. Okay, we're gonna show you right now that the gun will not go off as long as the chamber is clear. Just again, triggering everybody today. Moving on, we have the Magpul MOE SL grip. The reason is it's a slightly more forward sweep to it versus, you know, a more aggressive A2. I did want to try to get more of a vertical one, maybe like a BCM, just to make it a little bit easier to you know, use with body armor. And yeah, but in my opinion, this one, I've tried it for multiple different rifles and it works out pretty decent, so I put it on there. And I also like it's that really hard plastic. There's no like rubberized crap that gets sticky in the humidity. So if you live in the Midwest, we get like today it's like 100% humidity and 98 degrees. It feels like 110. So it's like I'm not trying to have all that sticky tackiness. But the lower, it's not the lower I wanted. Too bad Fat Boy Pritzker decided to put an assault weapon band in here. So I was not able to get the Mars lower like I wanted, and it finally came in stock, no shit, a couple weeks after the shit had put the band in place. So I'm just using a beam lower from PSA. I really don't mind because the uppers and Aero precision, they're both 70-75, and as you see here, there is no gap between the receivers, nice and tight lockup, and yeah. So there's that. I have PMags in here. These are 10-round PMags, loaded 10 rounds only. But yeah, and the UID label has nothing. It just adds a coolness factor. That's it. That's all it is. Plus, it's got the serial number on it, and then the part number is actually my daughter's birthday. So you know, gotta have that you know, the dad status going on. The upper receiver, like I said, is narrow precision. It's from Harvey Anchor. They just finished it out, the forging. It has the M4 feed ramps, and here we have a Strike Industries ejection port cover. I wanted to try these out just because, again, them being tan and plastic, they have these little rubber bumpers, so that way it's a lot more quieter when it comes to opening your ejection port. Plus, the biggest thing for me is it had this O-ring on it, this gasket, to help prevent liquid from getting in there, aka freezing rain, which again, Midwest we have a lot of. So anytime you can prevent ice, especially between here, there's nothing in here that's nice and tight, was a bonus for me. And if it wasn't for the fact that this thing is easy to put on, I don't have to worry about, all I have to do is pull this off and I can swap these out if this one ever breaks or, you know, gets worn out. That's the reason I did for that, without having to take off the rail and everything to get the pin out, that whole shazam. So we're not gonna deal with all that. Nice and easy. I like that. Moving on here, we got the Aero Precision Pro bulk carrier group. It's a bulk carrier group. Nothing to really talk about on that. I just like, the reason I bought that because I liked a couple of features they did as far as the machining for it. That's what I did. But it's really smooth bulk carrier. And then here we have a Radian Raptor charging handle. If I can pull this back for you guys, it's the Raptor LT. Nice. I never really had an ambidextrous charging handle before. I've always used like the PRI, the big latch one, just to kind of, you know, help me when I'm holding my AR in my left hand and I had to reach over with my right hand to pull the charging handle to keep my hand on the firing controls. So yes, as far as the rail goes, we have a Centurion Arms CMR 13 rail, or 12.5, so it's actually 13-inch or 13.5 inch. I don't remember what the hell this thing is, but yeah, the CMR 12 rail, that's what I know. I've always known that one is. So the reason I like that is it's nice and lightweight, nice and strong. It has direct attach for the Picatinny rails, which I like, the 1913s. It has on both sides these places for quick detaches. I like that. I also like the rail covers that CMR makes, Centurion Arms makes. So I like these a lot. The little golf ball texture, and then the little hand stop thing they have. Here we have a Gunfighter foregrip from BCM, the mod something. But yeah, and this is just a piece of nice armament rail cover I cut just to have a nice little position for passive aiming, like scanning the horizon for targets, scanning tree lines. Get it closer here, it's a little bit more easier to hold, less fatigue, because most of the weight's gonna be right here. Underneath that is the Ballistic Advantage barrel. Again, I believe it's a 13.9. Cannot be 100% sure with that one, but 13.7, 13.9. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on how many shims you're gonna have to use to get that thing out to 16 inches and timed properly. But then I also have an adjustable gas block from Aero Precision. Why adjustable gas block? Well, because it's been tested a lot and it's reliable. Plus I have a mixture of my ammunition that I personally have is a mixture of Lake City M855, Lake City XM193, PPU, SS109 loaded 5.56. I have Tula ammo, I have Winchester white box. I have a variety of ammunition, and I need to be able to adjust my gas system to have this thing cycle, you know, reliably but softly at the same time, because that's the whole point of me having the mid-length and the H buffer. Just kind of make it a little bit of a softer shooting rifle, easier on the parts. Then I have a mid-length gas tube, the stainless steel one from Aero Precision. Reason I did that because I try to keep the gas system and the gas, or sorry, the bulk carrier all the same. So if the bulk carrier is Aero Precision, the gas tube is going to be at the very least not the gas block, but the gas tube is going to be Aero Precision. If it's BCM, it's going to have BCM. If it's DS arms, it's going to be DS arms. If it's argons, it's going to be argons. The only ones I will switch is if I can't find the company who has a gas tube as well, I will put a BCM gas tube in. And so far the BCM gas tubes have not let me down as far as compatibility with carrier keys, but the DS arms, sometimes they're undersized in certain bulk carriers keys, so they don't seal properly, and when you go to shoot steel case, they won't cycle. So yeah, don't shoot steel case. No, if you're can't handle steel case, you have a problem. So yeah, you should be able to cycle any type of ammunition you put into it, period. Then moving forward, yeah, the Surefire warcomp, pin and welded. Would have been a perfect pin and weld, except I fucked up and I accidentally hit it with the file when I was filing down my weld. I like about this is that it comes with a timing guide and the pilot hole already drilled for your pin. So you just have to measure the thickness that's left, or measure the thickness of the muzzle device, measure the thickness of your barrel, subtract half from the thickness of your barrel, and then just set your depth gauge on your drill press and drill it through. If you want to do it properly, if you want to drill freaking dirty, just drill until you see the barrel threads. Yeah, okay. That's how you over drill and you freaking get into your barrel. So yeah, and then you just put a pin into it. The pins from the little like linear ball bearing things, it's hardened steel, and you know, it works pretty good in there. That's what I use for pinning all my shit, but I still did use the rock set and everything on it, just to have it. And then the sights are the Magpul Pros, the backup ones, new ones, the SLs. I like these just because the rear sight offers windage and elevation adjustment, and it has the 2 apertures on it. They're very nice. I especially love the front sight post. That thing is so thin, you don't have to worry about covering your targets at longer ranges. And then for the light, I had just an enforced WML. I know they were the hotness back in the day, and now people do pressure switches and all that shit and vamp heads, but this thing has never done me wrong. And if I need to hit it from the other side, my hands are big, I can actually hit the button with my left and my right hand side. Except when I'm holding with lefty, I'm using my thumb. With my right hand, I'm using my middle finger to actuate that button. So it's just for close-up work. I'm not trying to illuminate 100 yards away. That's not the point of the light. And then for the optic, I have a Sig Sauer Tango-MSR 1-10. This thing is really big, heavy for this freaking gun. And the 1x is not real life. Where I put the red dot right there, that is where my eye and the scope looks exactly the same. So you pretty much have to put between the 1 and 2 to get 100% correctly to real life. Otherwise the 1x seems like it's pushing the image away, like the shot's further away. It's a good scope, I like it. It's just, again, way too big for what I was actually thinking it was going to be. So we might just end up putting an EOTech on this freaking thing and magnifier, calling it a day. Because I do want that capability of shooting further away, but not having to have a freaking red dot on top of an optic. So, but yeah, things cycles very nicely, and I think we covered everything. Again, the final build of this will be the Mars lower to have the completely ambidextrous controls. But until then, I have to wait. Hopefully Supreme Court will set us free from this tyranny, but I doubt it. That's why we have things like this. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the build. Hope you guys got some inspiration from it. Inspiration meaning don't go and copy this thing, because what works for me does not work for you. As far as the sling goes, I'm gonna get a Vickers VTAC sling. That's what I had on my my M4. That's what I'm gonna put on this one too. I'm gonna see if I can find a multicam to match the Gucci gear. Okay. Anyways, thanks for watching.